Hi everyone, thank you for coming to hear about MB4. I'm Yiyi Wang. I'm a PhD student at Peking University. In MB4, I mainly organize one spin-off project together with Hilary Singh, Kylie Hamlin, Francis Yuan, and Kelsey Luca. So today I'm going to give you an overview of the motivations, the experimental design, and the pilot results of MB4. And I will also introduce one spin-off project which examines the studies of infants' individual differences in social evaluations and provides a good example of maximizing the impact of large-scale projects to ask new questions. Before I start, I'd love to say thank you to our fantastic collaborators around the world. Here's the list of our collaborators. And great thanks to Kelsey, who organizes the project, and to Kylie and Francis, who built the foundation for this project. So evaluating others' actions as praiseworthy or blameworthy is a fundamental aspect of human nature. Then where does the sense of right and wrong come from? One seminal study published in 2007 suggests that our ability to form social evaluations based on third-party interactions actually emerges within the first year of life. In this study, infants were habituated to alternating helping and hindering events. So in both events, the red circle with googly eyes was the climber who tried to climb to the top of the hill but failed, and then the yellow triangle, the helper, helped it and pushed it up. And in the hindering events, the blue square hindered the climber and pushed it down. Then infants were prompted to choose between these two characters, and we can see that infants prefer individuals who help over those who hinder others. This was interesting, but also raised the question of what drove infants' preferences. Were they truly forming social evaluations, or were their preferences actually driven by some non-social aspects? For example, they might prefer upwards actions over downwards actions. So to address this question, a non-social control study was conducted. The procedure was similar to study 1, except that the climber was replaced with an inanimate right block that produced no self-propelled motion. Here, infants no longer showed preference toward the pushing up character over the pushing down character, which suggests that infants' preferences were driven by the social aspects of helping versus hindering actions, rather than some non-social perceptual features. This study has sparked a new line of inquiry into the nature of infant social evaluations. A meta-analysis in 2018 summarized all these findings and found that the estimated average proportion of infants who prefer the prosocial character was 64%. And results of new experiments since the meta-analysis also suggest that infants prefer the prosocial characters more. However, the meta-analysis still had some remaining issues. First, nearly half the studies in the meta-analysis were conducted by a single lab with small sample sizes. So we still need larger studies with higher lab diversity. Second, the field replications suggest that the true effect size might be smaller than we thought, or that some slight variations in method or population are responsible for the failures. Here, closely coordinated replications can help provide some insights into this question. And third, the meta-analysis did not include the control conditions, raising questions of whether infants' preferences are truly based on the social aspects of prosocial or and antisocial actions. So we still need additional data from control conditions. Here, MB4 was designed to address the outstanding questions and provide new insights into infants' social evaluations. Its first objective is to establish a precise estimate of the true effect size of infants' preferences towards prosocial characters over antisocial characters, and also examine some potential moderators such as age. Its second objective is to determine whether infants' preferences are driven by the social aspects of different actions. To achieve the objectives, we plan to conduct a large-scale, closely coordinated, and multi-set replication study of infants' preferences for prosocial characters. The methodological and analytical plan were pre-registered, and our registered report has been accepted by developmental science. Here's our timeline. So now we will study lab recruitment and data collection. The data collection will end by the August of 2023. We recruit infants between 5.5 and 10.5 months. Infants will be randomly assigned to social condition or non-social condition. The stimuli were just like what I was showing before. And then infants will be prompted to choose. Here's an example. Yeah, the experimenter asked which one do you like, and baby just made the choice. For analysis, we plan to conduct Bayesian analysis by calculating Bayes factors through model comparisons. The Bayes factors can tell us how much evidence the data can provide for one hypothesis compared to another one. So for the first question, whether there was an above chance choice of the helper in the social condition compared to the non-social condition, we will compare these two models to examine whether condition contributes to model fit. And for the second question of the moderation effect of age, we will examine the condition by age interaction contributes to the model fit. And some exploratory questions might also be examined. And here's our pilot data. 19 infants were tested, and great thanks to the labs who offered to collect data for the pilot test. And however, you can see that the sample size was limited, so we also conducted data simulations based on previous findings. And we can see that it is very likely that infants are more likely to choose the helper in the social condition than in the non-social condition. As a reminder, the data were simulated based on previous findings, so it's not surprising that we replicated previous results. We still need to see what we can get with real data. And this large-scale project also gives us the opportunity to ask some new questions in follow-up. And here, I want to introduce the spin-off project, which examines individual differences in infant social evaluations across cultures. Both behavioral and neural evidence suggests that infants' social preferences are related to their performances in other social domains, such as their colors on emotional traits or their brain responses to different moral scenarios. Additionally, previous findings were mainly from the wired societies, the Western, educated, industrialized, rich, and democratic societies, which warrants further investigation into infants' social evaluations across a more diverse background. So here we want to focus on the relations between infant social evaluations and 3 different aspects. The first is the caregiver's expectations, values, and practices surrounding prosociality. Previous studies found that parental justice sensitivity was related to their infant's brain responses to different moral scenarios. And the more parent had more language, the more their infants are likely to prefer the prosocial characters. Second, we want to examine the effects of culture, more specifically whether infants' social evaluations and their parental socialization practices, such as moral evaluation talk, will vary across different cultures. And third, we will also examine whether infants' social evaluations are related to their actual prosocial behaviors in daily life. To measure the above factors, we'll utilize a multi-method approach. So the blue text represents the experimental task, which is the main MB4 task. And the red text represents the observational task, the joint book reading task, which measures parent moral talk and mental state talk. And the green text indicates different surveys. For example, the interest and curiosity in infants' mental state scale. An example items like, I am often curious to find out how my baby feels. And for the joint book reading task, we created a cartoon book with different things, and parents are prompted to narrate the pages to their child just as they would do at home. Based on our pilot data of 43 infants, we created the coding protocol for parental moral talk. It included 4 categories. The evaluation of behaviors or actions. For example, helping is good or he did a bad thing. And the second is the evaluation of character's traits, such as he's so nice. And the third is the description of different behaviors, such as he's helping others or he pushes the child. And we also included instructive talk. For example, we should help others or don't fight. And from our pilot data, we can see that differences exist in parent moral talk between China and Turkey. For example, Turkish parents had less descriptions of antisocial behaviors and less instructive talk about antisocial behaviors and prosocial behaviors. So these findings suggest that our coding protocol can capture the variability of parental moral talk across different cultures. This spin-off project provides us a good model for maximizing the impact of large-scale projects to ask new questions. And great thanks to our helpers in the spin-off project. And thank you for listening. If you want to learn more about MB4, just contact us. You can join the project anytime during the data collection period, as long as the data collection can be completed before the end date, the August of 2023. So thank you, that's all.
Great, thanks so much, Yi. That was awesome. You really covered a lot of ground in a short amount of time. That was fantastic. And you get extra points for also joining us from the middle of the night where you are. I think she wins for joining from Beijing, where it's truly, she should be asleep. So excellent job. All right, does anyone have a quick question for Yi before we move on to our last presenter?
I was kind of curious, great talk again. I was kind of curious, it looked like from the data simulations, which I assume are based on the meta-analysis, that there is possibly an age effect that people have found across studies. Is that right? With increasing preference for the helper, or was I overinterpreting the simulation studies there?
Yeah, it's hard to say. We actually assume that there won't be the moderation effect of age, and we can see that from the simulated data, the effect of age, yeah, it is not, it is unlikely that it contributes to the model fit. Yeah, but we'll see what we can have with the real data.
Gotcha. Yeah, thanks for the clarification.
Thank you for your question.